These things alone absolutely changed my life. I couldn't take care of myself, and these wellness practices that I've been doing for the last 10 years have completely changed my life around. It was just like my brain feels totally different after I do this, and it's amazing. And I literally felt better than I had even when I was a kid. It's completely essential. Completely essential. Hello and welcome back to the Wealth Podcast. Here we have another episode. Let's go. In this episode, I wanted to talk more about what wellness practices changed my life. I couldn't hold down a job. I dropped out of college. I couldn't take care of myself. And these wellness practices that I've been doing for the last 10 years have completely changed my life around. First thing that I started in my journey of not just surviving but thriving was cognitive behavioral therapy. This was a great starting point for me in my journey. This was before I did anything. I had done yoga here and there, and I had heard about mindfulness, but I had never practiced it. And so I started with therapy and just talking through my struggles. What I got out of that was a lot of tools and tips from different therapists that I had seen. A lot of them mentioned that eating healthy would help, regular exercise would help, meditation would help. After hearing this enough, I started to implement these things. I started with my diet. I went vegan about 10 years ago. I'm no longer vegan, although I mostly eat plant-based still. I had heard these rumblings in like 2015 about veganism, and people were raving about it and they felt so good and it was so good, for the planet, the animals, etc., etc. And I just thought, you know what? Why don't I just try a few weeks, see how I feel on it? I was already a pescatarian, so I didn't really have to cut out a whole lot. I cut out cheese. I didn't drink milk, but I cut out like baked goods that had milk in them, stopped eating seafood. And let me tell you that I had never felt better in my entire life. Like, it took me going vegan to realize that food isn't supposed to make you feel sick. It's supposed to give you energy. And I literally felt better than I had even when I was a kid. And because of the nature of my neurodiverse brain, doing things like eating better really makes a big difference on how you're able to function. I think that's true for anyone as well. Whatever you have or don't have, eating better, nourishing our body and our mind, especially our gut. Our gut is what is known as the second brain. If we're feeding it garbage, then it's going to affect how we think. The better you eat, the better your brain is going to work as well. Then after that, I started to regularly exercise for the first time in my adult life. And I had heard a lot about yoga and how good it is for you. I'd always wanted to try it, but I could never put it into practice. I started doing hot yoga, and that absolutely changed my brain. It made my ADHD symptoms way better, my anxiety symptoms way better. It taught me a little bit of meditation and mindfulness, which is also in turn great for those two conditions. These two things alone absolutely changed my life, and they changed my brain. And again, everything I'm going to talk about today is a practice. These things are things that you have to do consistently over a period of time, a long-term consistency to see a difference, to see results, to feel results. It's not like you can just go to yoga once or go do an exercise class once or, eat vegan once or eat, healthier food once and then you're expecting some kind of change. It's not the way it works. You have to do these consistently over a long-term period. It's a practice, but it's so worth it. Yoga kind of introduced me more into mindfulness and meditation. I started doing 10-minute guided meditations. I use the Headspace app. I've been using it for the last 10 years. I love it. It's very simple for me, and it's just very effective in its simplicity. And I do it, they say to be consistent with it and do it daily, but I do it as needed. Some months I'll need to do it more than other months. I just have to do a lot of self check-ins to see if there's something that I need to do. I don't think you need to do it every single day, but it definitely helps, especially in the beginning, because I I've been doing it for so many years now that my brain has changed. Like my neural pathways have changed because of it for the better. And so I don't feel the need to do it quite as often as I would recommend for someone just starting out. Because again, you may not see or feel those results from doing it if you're not as consistent in the beginning. I remember when I just started, I was like, I don't know that this is like doing much for me. But then even after like a week or like 3 sessions, I was just like, my brain feels totally different after I do this. And it's amazing. Two things that yoga and meditation have taught me are to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, whether it's physical pain, anxiety, or in a situation that it's external things that are making me uncomfortable. Yoga and meditation have taught me how to live in that space and go back to my breath and focus on my breath. If I'm having a particularly like stressful period in my life and I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't fall back asleep, I will use breathing techniques that I learned from Headspace's 10-minute meditation and I will fall back asleep every single time. It taught me how to be comfortable in very uncomfortable, even painful situations. Therefore, patience as well, which with ADHD, patience is not an easy one to grasp. And after that, I started doing affirmations. Our subconscious is wired growing up, all these external things in our life, our parents, our family, school, and a lot of, negative things tend to stick to us and how people look at us. People project things onto us and we start gathering these beliefs about ourselves and about the world. Our subconscious is full of these negative beliefs and limiting beliefs. How do we change that? How do we rewire that? Because that's not the universal truth, right? I do believe like everything in this world is a duality. There's two sides to the coin always. And so with every negative thought, there has to be a positive one as well. I had to do a lot of deprogramming of negative things in my life, just like all of us with the ADHD. I had a lot of trauma growing up, like in school. People would tell me I was dumb and teachers would humiliate me in front of the class. I started to believe these things about myself. And that's just one example. There's many, many things in my life and in everyone's lives that create these like negative thought loops and beliefs in our mind that just aren't reality and are just holding us back. Learning the practice of positive affirmations can completely reprogram your brain. Some great ways to implement this is to listen to positive affirmations on YouTube. There are probably thousands of videos for different kinds of affirmations, career, health, love. You can find exactly what you need. The best time to listen to these affirmations is before bed or first thing in the morning, because that's when our mind is in the alpha state or the flow state. We are most receptive and we're most able to tap into our subconscious and rewire our subconscious. And that's really where those negative thoughts live, is in our subconscious. Also writing, so journaling, I am affirmations. For every negative thought that you have, counter it. Again, flip it with a positive thought. If I was thinking I could never get that job, then I would flip it and write down, I can get this job, I have this job, and I can do more even than that. Or like, I am not enough. Flip it to, I am enough. I am always enough. I am eternally enough. Things like that. And also, it's really helpful to visualize as well. So use visualization. I've done this a lot when I'm manifesting things. So for example, when I was in a house that it wasn't in a great neighborhood and it was just a bad vibe and I needed to move, then I would visualize myself in what felt like a better house and situation in a lot of detail as well. And now I'm in that house. At some point, I'm going to do a video on manifestation and everything that I've manifested in my life and how I did it. But moving on, another great thing that I've done, it's completely essential, completely essential, surrounding yourself with positive people and having relationship boundaries. I have been a floater in many different friend groups throughout my life, and I can say that you are who you surround yourself with. It's really important for me to be around positive people and successful people and people with that mindset, because that's how I am and that's how I want to be as well. And I want to continue being that. You don't have to be that now, but it's really important to surround yourself with the right kinds of people who are going to keep you in that high vibe and that high energy, the energy of love and light is so, so key. Another thing that helps me in my overall wellness is going on vacation, taking time off from work. I know not everyone has the luxury of doing that, but even just little things like, inexpensive camping trips, road trips, just giving your mind a breather, getting out of your space, your town. It's so, so helpful for me to reset my perspective on my life. I know every time I come back from a trip, I feel like I'm seeing my life with a fresh set of eyes, and that is so valuable. It's almost like a free, objective view of your life, which is so incredible. When I'm going through a hard time, I consult a list that I made. And the list is what brings me joy in life. So I have made a list of every single thing that brings me joy in life. And I consult that list when I'm having a hard time. So for me, things like gardening, playing my guitar or piano, like music, listening to music, watching certain movies, going to hot yoga, petting my dog. If you don't have a dog, go find someone who has a dog, doing a face mask. What brings you joy? Seeing my friends as well. So really consider what brings me joy and write a list of that down. And when you're having a hard time and maybe you're in a negative kind of spiral, or, you're going through it and you're just not getting joy out of life right now, think of everything, big and small, that brings you joy, and find something on the list and do it. And it's such a great way to quickly shift your energy, quickly shift your vibration into positive. So again, like I mentioned before, I have struggled with anxiety through my life, and this is something that I've kind of mastered recently. I wasn't going to say master, but I have to give myself credit here and not be humble for a second, because I really do feel like I've mastered this year. And that is the art of surrender. Now, when you have anxiety, the idea of just letting go and surrendering when you're in the middle of an anxiety attack feels nearly impossible to do. But the more I have practiced this, the more possible it has become. And again, please consult healthcare professionals if you have, any mental health issues at all. It's really important to seek help, and not everything that I do is going to work for everyone. I've been working on my anxiety for years and years and years, and I've been able to get to a point where I mostly have rewired my nervous system and been able to chill my nervous system out, and circumstances in my life have changed and things like that. That said, I still can be prone to anxiety. All of that said, surrendering has actually helped any little bits of anxiety, or helped prevent anxiety attacks at this point in my life. And while I still practice all the other things that I've already discussed before, so this has kind of been a game changer for me. And how do I even surrender? Because if you're starting to get anxious about something or worried, the idea of letting it go is just it feels so impossible. But the thing that helped me in surrendering is two things. Number one, which is a spiritual practice. So I believe that I have angels and guides, or God, or whatever you want to call it, a higher power, right? I believe that I'm protected and I'm being looked out for. And I think that really helps you to just let go and surrender to your God or to the universe or whatever it may be. The second thing is energetically worrying about things and being anxious about things that you can't really do anything about in the moment. It's only going to make the situation worse. Now, there's two kinds of situations that come to mind. The first one is if you're trying to manifest something like a new job, and maybe you just interviewed for the job and now you have to wait a few weeks and you're just growing more and more anxious by the day, that energy of worry and anxiety is only going to get in your way. And I do believe that the people who interviewed you are going to feel this on an energetic level. They're not going to know that they're feeling it unless they're like a psychic or a medium or a highly sensitive person. That is being transmitted. And so people are turned off by that. People are not attracted to that. And it just basically what it does is it blocks you. It blocks the thing that you want from coming into your life. So if you're trying to manifest something and you're worrying about it, the best thing that you can do is just let it go and surrender. And it feels like you're jumping off a cliff into darkness every single time. But the moment you do jump off that cliff and you hit darkness, you feel free. It's freedom. And you're no longer worried and everything is okay. And you're allowing things to come in and out of your life. You're allowing that energy flow to flow unimpeded. And so the other aspect of this is just knowing that you're going to be taken care of, just having that faith that the universe has your back. And the more you worry and ruminate and obsess and have anxiety about something, it's just going to make it worse. And the moment that you just surrender to it, things just have a way of working themselves out, and usually for the best. And the more you ruminate and have anxiety and worry about something, it generally doesn't work out. And if it doesn't work out, you've surrendered to it and it didn't work out anyway, it's almost like it did work out because you don't even really it doesn't affect you as hard as it would. It's like that saying, worrying makes you suffer twice, right? So it just makes everything worse. And things just always work out anyway, especially if you believe that, because then you're putting out that energy. Things are going to find a way to work out for you. It's been incredible to just live in this state of flow and be open to receiving and have gratitude and just let everything flow and stop trying to control everything. And that brings me to my next wellness practice, which is gratitude. Oh my gosh, gratitude is a miracle. Honestly, it changes your complete reality. It flips your reality. And I have a very recent example of this. I struggled so bad with burnout this year, worse than I've ever experienced in my life. Months and months and months. I was so burned out. I felt like a shell of a human, a complete robot. I was just like crying, and I'm someone who I'm not down for long, like a few days max, and then I pick myself up and I'm like, I'm good again. But this was like months and months and months. And back in May, it was just a dark time for me. And I moved into this new house this year, and I just have all these amazing things that are coming into my life right now. And I just wasn't able to be in a place of gratitude for any of it. I wasn't able to see it. I was sitting in this house and thinking, I should be really happy about this. I should be really grateful. And I just couldn't see it. I could only see the negative. And I ultimately hit a rock bottom. I was still doing all my wellness practices throughout this burnout stuff, but I was trying to be grateful, and I just couldn't do it. I was just so exhausted. But at some point, after hitting complete rock bottom, I started practicing gratitude again, and it completely changed everything in my reality. Like every morning I wake up and I look around my house and I just think, this is amazing. Like, I am so grateful for this. This is abundance. I'm so grateful for just the little things. I'm grateful for food. And now I can't stop. It's amazing. Like, every time I eat now, I just take a moment and just pray over my food and say, I'm so grateful. And I think about all the people who helped to bring this food to my table. Every little thing in my life now, I think I'm grateful for. So, and now I think, oh my God, I'm so abundant. I'm so rich, not in the financial sense necessarily, but in a life sense, in a holistic sense, I feel so rich. You know what I mean? And it's so incredible. This is the same house that I was in before, and yet it feels totally different than it did even just like a month ago. It feels completely different. I feel so blessed. I feel I feel so lucky and rich and abundant. And so being in that constant mindset of gratitude, coming at life with gratitude, like, oh my God, I woke up this morning, like it's amazing. It changes everything. Everything in your life will change with gratitude. It is the highest vibration. Gratitude, love, light, and levity, the highest vibrations that you can practice. And so with gratitude, how do you even start? Well, the best thing to start doing is journaling gratitude. So journal what you're grateful for. The other thing that I do as well is scripting. Scripting is a form of journaling. It's like writing a diary, except you're writing about things that are in your life currently and also not in your life that you want to bring into your life. So if I, for example, wanted to bring a promotion into my life from my job or whatever, then I would wake up in the morning and I would say, I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you for this new promotion. I'm so grateful that I can be of service in this way, and the extra money is going to help me take my parents on a vacation or whatever, like whatever is most meaningful to you, right? However you think it would have a meaningful impact in your life, and be very specific as well. So scripting is literally you're writing out your life as if it were a movie. And scripting I started doing late last year, and I'm going to again talk more about this in a manifestation video, but so much of what I script has come to fruition in my life. So it's a great way to manifest as well. So just writing things as if it's already happened. So that's called the law of assumption. You're assuming it's already happened, aligns you in the vibration of the thing that you want to bring into your life. So that's a great practice to have in the morning or in the evening or whenever you feel called to it. And again, just do it as much as you possibly can. You don't want to be hard on yourself about it, but be as consistent as you can and forgive yourself when you weren't able to do it. Another wellness practice that I have is a check-in. First, I check the basics: sleep, hydration, food, exercise. And if all of those are met, which oftentimes, if you're not feeling good mentally for no apparent reason, usually one of these things is lacking. You're lacking sleep. You haven't had enough water today. You're not eating the right foods. You haven't done a consistent exercise lately. That's usually the case. Most times that is why you are struggling mentally. You're not feeling good mentally. Now, if all of those have been checked off and I'm still struggling and I don't know why, then I think, have I socialized lately? Have I done something that I love that brings me joy recently? Have I been in nature? Do I have things to look forward to? I think this is a huge one. Do you have things on your calendar planned in the future, or even maybe not even planned yet, but have you written down things that you want to do in the future? If you haven't, do that. It's important to feel like we have good things to look forward to in our lives. And next, is there stuff kind of rolling around in my mind that is taking up space that I could write down instead? Like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to go here, and I need to text this person and see this person, and whatever. Instead of having it like rumbling around in your mind, write it on a list, write it on paper. So that's my mental check-in for when I'm not feeling good. So counting breath. This is another great one that I've used for my own anxiety, and it kind of ties back to meditation. This is the technique that I learned in Headspace, but essentially, if I'm feeling anxious or I can't fall asleep at night, then I do this counting breath, and what you do is you count to 10, but through every number, it's an inhale and an exhale. So for 1, you go inhale, 2 is exhale, 3 is inhale, 4 is exhale, and you keep going until 10, and then you repeat. So let me do a demonstration. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so on until 10, and you keep going only up until 10. And you just focus on your breath in, out, in, out, in, out. And I tell you what, it has taken me out of so many anxiety attacks, and it's such a great breathing technique. So I don't do a whole lot of breathwork techniques, but that is one that I have come back to over the years. It's great. All right, moving on. A few more things here. So sound bowls, game changer, a great way to instantly shift your vibration into a higher vibe. So I have some crystal singing bowls and I will pull those out and do a little session, and it just raises my vibration. I also have tuning forks as well. Let me grab them so you can see. Okay, just to give an example of how amazing and quick a sound bowl can shift your vibration, I brought one of my crystal sound bowls out. If you just take a deep breath right now, inhale and exhale. How amazing does that feel? And then I have my tuning forks as well. And this is what I mean by a tuning fork. They come in different frequencies and so different sizes and things like that. This one is meant to be for your solar plexus chakra. And I don't think you'll be able to hear it on here, but it vibrates and makes a frequency. And if you just put it over your body or in an area that's affected, it just shifts your vibration so rapidly. It's incredible. And I've used it for things like headaches. I get migraines, and I will put a tuning fork literally on my head and it will completely relieve the migraine. It's absolutely incredible. The last thing I want to talk about is shadow work. And this kind of ties back to the beginning of this episode where I talk about therapy. In therapy, we often go through traumas in our lives and hard things in our lives that we've dealt with. And that is kind of what shadow work is. It's important to know why you are the way you are and where certain behaviors or thought patterns stem from in order to change them. That's something that has been helpful for me, is uncovering negative things or traumatic things in my past and then letting them go. And a really powerful way to do this is to write down on paper something that you want to let go of, a shadow part of yourself. And that can even be not necessarily something that's happened to you, but maybe something that you just have struggled with for a very long time and you just want to let go of it. Like, what parts of yourself are in shadow and not able to thrive? And so it could be, things like body image issues. I know for women that's pretty much universal. Or, money mindset. We have a lot of hangups with money as well. And so if you write that down on paper and you burn it in a safe way, of course, make sure it's fire safe wherever you're burning it. In a fireplace or fire pit or things like that are preferred. Be careful, but it can be a really powerful way to let that shadow aspect of yourself go. And so you're able to thrive and be your best self. So, wow, I guess I have a lot of wellness practices. And, I just want to say, I don't do all of these every day, but I do most of them on a somewhat consistent basis. And that's worked for me. That's gotten me where I am and what I consider in a very successful place that I am right now. And so I'm curious what wellness practices you do that you attribute to your own success. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what your wellness practices are. Is it something that I do, or is it something that I didn't even cover here? I'm really curious to know. Don't forget to subscribe if you feel called to. It's free. If you liked this, go ahead and leave a like. I'm super grateful for anyone who has listened to this. I'm sending you love and light, and I'll see you next time.